Hey, customers, welcome back to another episode of Fast Film, where we cover all the news and reviews just for you. This week's going to be August 22nd through 28th. Let's get into trailers for the week. First one's going to be The Marsh King's Daughter. It's definitely one of my favorite trailers for this week. It's got Daisy Ridley and Ben Mendelsohn in it. Daisy's playing the daughter of Ben Mendelsohn, who was kidnapped, and her mom was kidnapped by Ben Mendelsohn's character and then forced to give birth to Daisy Rid's character. It's a messed up story for sure. Now he's escaped from prison. So now he's trying to reunite back with his family. That's coming to theaters October 6th.
It's a fucked up family reunion.
It's messed up, man. It looks great, though.
All right, let's see if I can pronounce his name, even though you just told me how to. Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal are husband and wife in the new movie Foe. They live in a secluded farm in the year 2065, and a stranger appears at their front door with a strange proposal. They have been selected to live on what appears to be a space station, but it turns out only the husband is selected, and the wife has to stay home on Earth by herself. And there starts to be turmoil between them and what they should do. So Foe will be in theaters October 6th. And another pretty not happy movie for me. Flora and Son is about a mother and son. The son hates the mom, so she tries to connect with him by buying a guitar for him, and he fucking hates it. He threw that shit across the living room. So she decides to learn how to play herself. So she hires someone online to teach her, and her teacher ends up being none other than my boy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And she ends up hearing her son make music on the computer, and it seems like they end up collabing on music. Not really my cup of tea, so I'm going to fucking pass on this one.
Our next trailer is going to be for Expendables 4. To take Luis's joke, the Geriatric Gang is back for another over-the-top action movie. These are always crazy. I can't believe they're still making these fucking things. I feel like the last two went straight to Redbox. But this is apparently coming to theaters on September 22nd.
Dude, all their movies go straight to Redbox. All those old guys.
All of them.
And Amazon also released a trailer for their upcoming show, Wilderness. A husband and wife seem to be living the happily ever after story, but it ends up turning dark. What the trailer seems is that he is sleeping with another woman, and the wife finds out, and so she wants to fucking kill him. They show her with broken glass in her hand, wanting to stab him, and then another shot shows her hitting him on the head, and then another shot shows her wanting to push him off a cliff. So I don't know if she actually kills him in the show, or if the whole show's about her escaping with the murder. Don't really know exactly yet, but we're going to find out when it releases on September 15th.
Then Netflix dropped a trailer for their new Adam Sandler and Bill Burr animated film. It's going to be coming to theaters or coming to Netflix on November 21st. It just looks like a typical Adam Sandler animated movie. They're going to be an iguana and a fucking tortoise in a kid's classroom. They're going to escape. Crazy shit's going to happen. That's going to be on Netflix around Thanksgiving.
I like Bill Burr, but it's a little weird. Bill Burr doing a family-friendly movie.
He's got kids.
Yeah, but I mean, look at him. Yeah. But so we have another trailer for Cassandra. It's a movie based on a true story of Saul Armendáriz, I think is what it's pronounced. So Cassandra is an exotico. It's a character created by Saul, who is a gay amateur wrestler who ends up growing to stardom. Cassandra is played by Gael Garcia, who I really like him. And Bad Bunny's also in this movie, but it kind of makes sense that he's in it since I don't know if he still does, but I know he did wrestling occasionally, professionally. But I'm definitely interested in this one. I'm going to be watching when it releases in theaters September 15th, but it's also going to be on Amazon a week later.
Man, Bad Bunny was a wrestler. That makes sense why he was going to be the Sony villain. So another true story movie that's coming out pretty soon. We have The Society of the Snow. It's all based on this rugby team that crashed in the Andes. Cool. It's going to be about how they survived. They crashed in the middle of winter. Some of them, of course, are going to make it. Some of them not. This has been in multiple film festivals so far. It's going to be it looks like maybe foreign film of the year candidate could be up there. It's going to be coming on Netflix on September 9th.
Is that the one where they turn into cannibals?
I'm sure they're going to end up eating people.
Nah, kind of like Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
But Netflix also released a trailer for Rustin yesterday. Coleman Domingo, who is from Fear the Walking Dead, which I really like as well, he's going to be portraying Bayard Rustin, a gay civil rights activist who organized the 1963 March on Washington. And this movie is also starring Chris Rock and Jeffrey Wright, and it's also going to be produced by the Obamas. So Rustin's going to be releasing on Netflix on the 17th of November.
And then another Netflix project that's massive got a trailer this week. That's gonna be Zack Snyder's new piece. It's gonna be it's his new like sci-fi epic that he's trying to do. It looks like Dune, Star Wars, and Harry Potter had a fucking baby. I'm really never sure about Zack Snyder if I really like him or not. I'm always debating. Most of the time, I lean towards no, but I'm definitely gonna watch this. It's gonna be coming to Netflix on December 22nd, so we're definitely gonna have to check it out and see if that's any good. And then for headlines this week, actually what part of that movie's based on we just were looking at for that trailer. Dune 2 got moved. Now it's to March 2024. Still with the writers and directors or writers and actor strike going on. Their Warner Brothers decided to push back. I mean, the first one was great. Apparently this one's going to be more of a war movie, so that's definitely going to be kind of cool. I mean, Denis Villeneuve knows how to shoot a great film, so I'm sure him doing a war piece is going to be awesome.
And The Idol is back in the news. Once again, it's going to be bad news or good, depending on how you look at it. But after one season, HBO has decided to finally cancel The Idol starring The Weeknd. Apparently, they decided to recently cancel it after the lack of clarity from both viewers and cast members if the show had any potential to continue. I honestly don't even think how this had potential to even have a first season. But, good news for me. I don't have to watch that shit.
We won't make you do season 2. So we got a couple of shots of Peter Dinklage as the Toxic Avenger. It's apparently a cult classic. I've never seen it before. But Peter Dinklage is great. So if he signed up for this, I'm sure there's got to be something here. I mean, I'll watch him in anything. He's pretty great. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah.
He's a cool little guy.
Yeah.
But director Neil, I almost call him Neil Blumkin, but it's Neil Blomkamp, who also directed Gran Turismo, which just released, and we're going to review that in a little bit. He recently was asked in an interview if Sony would be attached to a District 9 sequel, and he said that they would be, but doesn't know when or if it will be made. He said that he does not want to make it at the moment, but he says he's pretty sure it's going to be made sometime down the road. And for me, I would be so excited for District 10 movie because the first one was great. I remember me and you, Frank, we went to go see this in theaters after school, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been, 14 years? But yeah, excited to see if there's actually going to be a sequel to this one.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was really good. So in news this week with the directors not on strike, we do have them kind of out pushing their movies. And Antoine Fuqua, I hope I'm saying that right. It's probably not.
Oh, fuck are you?
Yeah, he directed Equalizer 3. He's talked about how if they decided to do a prequel, that they wouldn't be opposed to de-aging Denzel. I mean, we'll see. He's also got a son who looks a lot like him. They could probably just use him instead too. But that's up to them. Hopefully this is good. I keep forgetting that this Equalizer 3 is coming out. So I don't know if we're really clamoring for a fucking, we all need that prequel movie, but whatever.
We also got Queen Latifah.
Oh yeah, she's got her show too. Shit.
Yeah. Oh, and sad news, longtime host of The Price is Right, Bob Barker, has sadly passed away at the age of 99. That sucks. He almost made it to the 100 Club, but he did not. His representative said on Saturday that he passed away peacefully and died from natural causes. And, hopefully Bob Barker's in heaven keeping it real and staying it under $1. Let's get to, okay, so we're going to do some reviews. I finally got to finish The Chosen One on Netflix. And for this show, towards the end, Jody just starts kind of getting full of himself with all these powers and thinking he's the son of God. He starts to act up and he seems to have religious groupies, but it's weird because they're all 12 and 13. But his friends begin to abandon him because he's really cocky and thinks he can do whatever he wants. Of course, at the end, he sees the wrongings that he's doing and begins to try to make things right. Spoiler alert, if you're going to watch the show, fucking don't watch this part. But at the end, we find out he's actually not the son of God. He's actually the Antichrist. And at the end, and at the end of the show, he's leaving with the people that orchestrated everything. And he's on his way to meet his father, who I can only assume is the devil. And then at the end, we see a flash forward of Jody as an adult who is now the president of the United States. And he's traveling to the Holy Land, where we can only assume he's going to start a war on religion. I'm giving The Chosen One a dope, especially because I never knew about this show. So it was kind of a surprise that I actually enjoyed it, not knowing anything about it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Check it out on Netflix if you have Netflix. If you can still use someone's password, check it out as well.
So the new Disney Plus show this week was going to be Ahsoka, the Star Wars show. I mean, the first two episodes are pretty great. Ahsoka is a direct continuation of the Rebels cartoon. I haven't watched Rebels, but I know enough about Star Wars that it doesn't bother me. It'd be kind of interesting to see, like, having Luis watch it, since he's not as big of a Star Wars guy, to see if he can follow what's going on. I mean, the first two episodes, all they do is really set up what the rest of the season's going to be. But so far, I'm going to give this show a dope. Rosario Dawson's great as Ahsoka. It's a lot of fun. It's a good amount of action to start the first two episodes as well.
I'm dropping shit over here.
Yeah, always making a fucking mess, man.
And Metalocalypse Army of the Doomstar released on the 22nd. This one is a sequel to the Doomstar Requiem, which is a clock opera. So for those that don't know, clock opera is the band in the show is Death Clock, so opera would just be them. And so it's pretty much right after the first one, and the whole band does not remember a single thing of what happened after they rescued Toki. And it's pretty much the whole band trying to make a song about salvation to save the world's humanity. And this one's a lot longer than the first one is. The first one's only about 45 minutes, and this one's more about an hour and a half. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. It's funny. It's my kind of humor. It is a little slow at the beginning, but I really enjoyed it. I kind of want to give it a dope, but I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards I just because I simply like this show a lot more than the movies. But if you're a Metalocalypse fan, definitely check this one out.
Then this movie came out on Hulu this week. It's going to be Vacation Friends 2, starring John Cena and Little Rel. We've talked about this a little bit already. It's just a cheesy, dumb comedy movie. I mean, I don't want to get too much into it. You know, in the first one, they met each other. These two couples met. They're, of course, one's more like buttoned up. The other one's crazy. That's going to be John Cena. All this stuff happens in this new one. You know, they're on vacation again, crazy antics. Lil Rel's trying to get a new client that's also part of this vacation. It's just your typical goofy comedy movie. It's on Hulu. If you want just something for the background, I would throw this on. I'm going to give it an I, pretty much leaning to a nope, though, because it's just like a regular cheesy, not great comedy.
Okay, and back to Neil Blomkamp. So his newest movie, Gran Turismo, released over the weekend. This movie is based on a true story of Jan, who loved playing the game. And when Nissan decided to do a tournament where gamers compete to become real racers, he is selected to partake, and he ends up winning and becoming a real racer. Now, usually movies based on video games tend to suck, but this one's more based on his true story more than the game. They try to put some game themes into it. For like example, like when he's driving, they put waypoints like they do in the games, like telling him how fast to go and how slow to go, where to turn. Some of the racing seemed kind of generic. They try to make it seem more of a video game when he's racing than actually racing. I feel like if they would have kept strictly to just keeping it racing and not keeping it pretty generic CGI, I think it would have been a lot better. I'm giving this one an I. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't bad. I mean, I like cars. I like racing movies. So that's kind of what I was giving it an I too. But let's do some deep cuts.
Well, I saw real quick. I saw Gran Turismo too, and I walked out kind of feeling exactly the same. Where I was just like, "Yes, that's a movie." I saw it. I guess like it was right. But for deep cuts this week, with the Equalizer 3 coming out, we're gonna do some Denzel Washington movies. I think this might be our second time we've been doing Denzel Washington, but the man's dope, so we can't help ourselves. So I chose this week The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. It is a remake of the 1974 movie starring Walter Matthau and Robert Shaw. We now have Denzel playing the Walter Matthau character, and Robert Shaw is John Travolta now. I mean, it's just all about a heist trying to take place on like a subway train, like a heist / kidnapping. I really like this movie. It doesn't have the best ratings, but I love it. I can't help it. I think Randy's even said he's watched it about 10 times himself. Like, it's just kind of one of those movies that every time it's on, I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I'll watch this movie. So I'm going to give that a dope for sure. Right now, you can catch it on Stars, or it's only $4 to rent on Amazon, or I'm sure it's going to be on FX like tomorrow. So,
dude, every time I think about this movie, I think of Luis Guzman getting shot in the face.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then James Gandolfini's in this as well. He's the mayor of New York.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P. to the big dog.
Yeah. So, and then Luis, what'd you pick this week?
So I picked one of my favorite Denzel movies as The Book of Eli. This movie set in a post-apocalyptic world, and Denzel must fight his way across America in order to protect the sacred book that holds the key to saving humanity. But Gary Oldman is a villain in this movie, and Gary Oldman is just always a great villain in any movie. In The Professional, he's fucking fantastic. But Of course, he's trying to get the bug from Denzel, and he's throwing all his, his goons at him. And Denzel, being the badass that he is, he's easily taking out everything Gary Oldman throws at him. Mm-hmm. The action is great in this movie. Denzel always does great action movies, and the twist at the end caught me off guard. I totally did not see that twist coming. It was great. I think this is another movie we went to go see in theaters together.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I think we saw this in the theater together too, man. We've been watching movies for 15 years together at least.
Yeah. But definitely check out The Book of Eli. It is streaming on HBO Max, which is now just Max. But check it out. It's really great. Action's dope. It's pretty gory. I love it. Thanks again.
Right. It feels like it's dirty and post-apocalyptic like the whole time. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, like their hands are
the
hella
setting
dirty
is perfect.
Shit.
Like the setting and production is perfect.
I feel like I'm in North Richmond when I watch the movie. Yeah. But thanks for watching this week's episode, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Here's what's coming out next week. And remember, spay and neuter your pets, dogs.